Hi, my name is Ellie Krug. If you've ever heard me speak, you'll know that I often talk about being an idealist. And that goes back to me being a 7-year-old boy in the early 1960s, where I started reading the newspaper and learning about Dr. King and Bobby Kennedy. And before they were murdered, their words sank into me. And they told me I have an obligation to make the world a better place. And it's not something you fit in between yoga and takeout sushi. And that idealism led me to want to be a lawyer, a civil lawyer, doing environmental law. But there was a problem, and the problem was me. Because in order for me to be an idealist, I had to be who I was, which is, at that time, a girl and now a woman. And back in the 60s and 70s and early 80s, this was impossible to even contemplate. Fast forward to me transitioning at age 52 in Iowa as the first lawyer to ever do that. And, well, thanks. And then fast forward to January of last year, where I moved from downtown Minneapolis, where I had lived for a decade, out to Victoria, which is not a suburb, which is an exurb. I am literally on the edge of the prairie looking out at a farm from my bedroom window. I moved to a place where all my gay boyfriends were saying, "What the hell are you doing?" To a place where I was the only, trust me, visible transgender person for many miles around, living on a street with older, white, cisgender, straight people. Fast forward again to September of last year, where I get a knock on my door. It's a Boy Scout selling wreaths. And so, me being a lawyer by training and also being queer, I interrogated him. His mom was on the sidewalk. His name is Timothy, and I interrogated him. I said, "Okay, you want to sell me a wreath? Tell me this, do you have any girls in your Boy Scout troop?" He said, "Yeah, we do." Okay. Then I said, "You got any LGBTQ kids in your Boy Scout troop?" He stood for a minute and he thought, it was like he was counting down a list. He said, "Yeah, we got one, maybe two." And then I said, "Okay, I'll buy a wreath," even though I don't like wreaths. And then fast forward to a month ago. Timothy's family, well, 6 weeks ago, Timothy's family one day just showed up at my house, his father and him, knocked on my door, another knock, and gave me a loaf of bread. And they said, "Ellie, we were thinking of you and we're baking bread today and we thought we'd drop you some bread." I was so touched because it meant a lot that day that I was being thought of. I then sent them a thank you note and invited them all to dinner at my house. That was last month. And we sat down and we were having a meal. I cooked chicken parm, my favorite meal, the only one I know how to make. And we had conversation. And during the conversation, we got into talking, a little bit about everything. And Deborah, the wife in the family, just casually mentioned to me that they were evangelical Christians. And I smiled when they said that, but in my head I thought, holy shit. Because if you're transgender and you hear the phrase evangelical Christians, it's not usually something that you are accepted about as being trans. But here was this family having a meal with me, laughing. They stayed, they seemed engaged, and they were a delight. The work that I do is about breaking barriers. Within the last month, I have spoken to 5 groups, GSA groups, Gay Straight Alliances, in 3 different towns, talking to queer kids. On Wednesday, I stood in front of 100 and some federal judges in Nashville, talking about how to be good to each other. And on Monday, I will sit with the Victoria City Council and all of the managers of the city of Victoria and lead them in a talking circle exercise. I am an oddity with heart. How you can help me is get me in front of people who think that I'm odd. And I will show them I am not. Thank you very much.